Hi, everyone. We have our super exciting, different session for you guys today. You're actually going to get to hear from some real Gen Zers. But first, I want to
That's not me.
Yeah, if you didn't know. I'm going to speak a little bit with my friend Jeremy, who I actually interned for over 10 years ago when he was at Cody. How do you, as a non-Gen Zer, try to understand this demographic, and how do you best reach them?
So we're actually doing it right now by doing this type of a panel. I think we sometimes get lost in the world of data, and we need to go back to the basics and have real conversations.
Oh, definitely.
So whether that's social listening through social platforms, or having focus groups, in-person meetings, and just having real dialogue. And then also for me as a marketer, is listening to my team, who some of my team are Gen Zers, and what are they doing on everyday basis.
And with all the new platforms, TikTok, Instagram, we all know none of them go on Facebook. But how do you figure out what they're actually paying attention to?
Again, it's the conversations, and I think the world of marketing today is about being everywhere that they are throughout their purchase journey, and having the right type of content and dialogue, because it is a dialogue, with them at the right moment within that journey. So whether it's on TikTok, whether it's actually at point of sale, whether it's in search, all the right different moments, and making sure you have the right language and content serving at the right time.
And the brand's over 20 years old, which is older than some of our panelists up here today. How do you stay relevant and in the conversation?
So actually I'm going to do a quick show of hands. How many people here know Milani? Oh, a lot of people, amazing. So what's amazing about Milani is, as Carly said, we are 23 years old, or years young as a brand. And the brand has actually really transcended time at this point. For those of you who don't know the brand, it was really founded on two core principles. One was truly affordable luxury. So we are a mass market makeup brand who really delivers prestige quality formulas at an accessible price point. And we really do that because we source our products from the same formula fill houses and R&D centers and partner with them on the development that prestige brands do. And second was, I call it radical inclusivity. The brand was originally founded for Black women because the founders saw that there was a gap in the marketplace for that community within the mass market. And why I'm giving you the background is because when we fast forward to today and thinking about TikTok, it has actually helped amplify the brand's message. And we are sort of that native brand to the space that Gen Zers are looking for. So authentically inclusive, authentically prestige quality, and affordable. So that's what helps us really, I think, transcend communities and age.
Awesome. I know you said the way you understand their preferences is by talking to them.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Great. So let's move over to our Z suite, and we're just going to go down the row. First thing I want to talk about actually is content. I think it's on top of marketers' heads all the time. What's the right type of content? So I'd actually love to hear from you guys as you think about your own purchase journeys across platforms. What is the role for you of brand-developed content versus influencer-developed content and user-generated content?
Absolutely. I think there's a lot of different parts during the purchase process. There's discovering the brand, wanting to learn more about the brand, the product. I think brand-generated content is most important during the I want to learn more about this product phase, and then after the purchase as well. So maybe after I've purchased a product from Milani, I get some sort of brand-generated content of how to use your new blush and what different ways to apply it. But when I haven't heard of the brand, I'm not very interested in hearing brand-generated content because I don't believe anything that they say yet. I want to hear it first from my peers. I want to know that they've vetted it and they think it's worth learning more about. And then I want to hear from the brand and what they can offer if I am to purchase that item and to continue the life cycle as well.
Great.
I think brand content is such an interesting point right now where the new generation has shifted what we expect to see. People buy from people, they don't buy from brands. And so what I would encourage anybody in the room to think about is, who is your brand? Who is behind your brand? I think J.Crew just did something so interesting where they had their new product launch, but they had the internal merchants tell the customer about it. Suddenly, I have a face to match the brand. I think of a Kim Kardashian's brand. I think of her and Emma Grede, so whenever they do anything, I'm thinking of them talking to me about it. And so when I think about what I want to see from a brand, I want to see people-focused content as your brand content. Who is your CMO? Who is your head of sustainability? And when you look at a company like a Dior Beauty, who does a lot of brand content in the traditional way, they might be a little bit more polished and cleaned up, and you look in their comment section, right?
Yeah.
It's a bunch of robots and heart emojis and nothing really interesting. Where you go to Milani or Elf and you look at their people-led content and you look at their comment section and you see community. Yep. And I think at this conference, we're all about hearing authenticity. That's authenticity, is seeing community in your comments, people talking about your product, people being excited about it. That's the brand content I want to see.
Love that.
It's going to be hard to follow up, Clay, but I agree with everything you said. I think for me, something that really gets me is subtle branding, and I've seen a lot of, sorry, did I steal your thunder? I'm sorry. Yeah, I've seen a lot of brands do this lately where they slowly put their products in places you don't typically expect. For example, it would be like Love Island having the koi sunglasses everywhere. That leaves an impression. That influences me because I'm like, oh, those are kind of cool. And then I see them everywhere and I'm like, I wonder where that came about. And next thing you know, I have the sunglasses too. So subtle branding is really what sticks out to me.
I think after growing up through COVID and all my formative ages, or my formative years being through COVID, my only source of entertainment was these 15-second videos on TikTok. And my attention span is so much shorter because of that. So when I'm scrolling through TikTok, I don't want to feel like I'm being fed an ad, I want it to feel like it's my idea to go find the product, look at its benefits, things like that. So I feel as though, in a sense, branded content can be so great when it kind of follows somewhat of a storyline and makes me feel like, hey, it's my idea to buy the product, not the brand force feeding it into my face. But influencer-led content is so great because it's people that I know and love. Well, I know off of been following them for so many years, and I feel like I can trust their advice. So if brands do their branded content the right way, not force feeding it to me, then branded content could really work.
I love that. You actually triggered something in me on one of the comments, was product placement. That's not a new concept, but it's interesting because all marketing is cyclical. So what's old is new again. Yep. And I'm actually curious, as consumers, when you think about all these different marketing channels that are out there, are you overwhelmed by the number of platforms? And are you looking for other ways to connect with brands, be it product placement, which is something we've been doing for decades, out of home, so billboards, which I'm seeing a comeback in, or even branded experiences, where they're bringing the consumers in to really touch and feel the brand. So where do those play within your own discovery of brands? We'll start at the end, we'll go down.
Can you repeat the question?
Yeah,
Sorry,
what are
some other ideas.
What are the other types of marketing channels outside of digital content are effective for you as consumers in sort of engaging with brands?
All right, I think word of mouth. I know that's something that's hard to hear because how do you market to word of mouth? But I don't know, when my friends tell me about some great product, I'm like, maybe I should go look at that. I feel like it's the people around me, my mom, my friends, the people who influence me to buy certain things. So I think that's another channel where I feel like I'm getting information through.
I'd say for me, I would like to remind everyone that this generation is starved and lacking in a sense of community. We went through COVID. A lot of us didn't get to have their proms. We didn't get to have graduations, and we'll do anything to have an opportunity to connect and get to know one another. So if a brand can provide that, that is so impactful, and that stays with us.
I would 100% agree with that. I love a branded experience. I feel like it's a great way to bring community into your product. I would also echo what you said about billboards. I'm seeing a huge return in physical ads. I live in New York, and so on the subway, we see very creative, sometimes almost vulgar ads. You even yelled at me. But when you think about the Gen Z process of, I might see that product in a billboard, but then I'm going to Reddit, or I'm going to the TikTok comment section to see what other people are saying about it. I think it is being very impactful, and it at least gets it into my mind to look it up later.
Yeah, I really have to echo the experiences point. I think there's nothing that we learn better from than actually doing something. We can listen to an ad all day, we can watch a video all day, but we don't really learn until we've experienced it. So I think there's not really much else to say on that. It's kind of the best way to connect with us. And another kind of point on that could be trials. You could come to this event, take home a sample of something. Samples are huge because when I see how it works with my skin, for example, with beauty, my routine, my day-to-day, how it wears, that's when I've decided I want to purchase this product. It's not based on an ad I saw, it's based on how it works for me.
Can I add something quickly?
Please.
Sophia, all the way down at the end, is 16 years old. The fact that you even knew what a marketing channel was and could name one is a sign to me that this generation knows that they're being marketed to.
It's true.
So,
makes my job even harder.
Right, how can you be savvy and how can you approach them in new and different ways that they haven't seen before?
Yeah, I think they touched on some of them, and for me it's about blending the online with the offline, because there is a sort of a craving for genuine community right now and human interaction.
Right.
And I think brands are starting to figure out the right ways and the right places to show up to do that, and not just have brand partners there, but also some of our other creators. And I'll actually give an example on what we're doing right now with Milani. We are, one of the top lip oil brands right now in the marketplace, and we wanted to connect two different types of industry. One is makeup, so the lip oil community, and our lip oils are also known for our flavors. So we have 10 different flavor profiles. And we saw that the other type of content that was really surging on TikTok was food and beverage. So we've partnered with a TikTok group of chefs and mixologists to create a branded experience around our Fruit Fetish lip oils. And in New York today and tomorrow, my team is actually out there doing an event with consumers, creators across beauty and food, bringing them together to talk about the different worlds, because again, beauty consumers are not just narrowly focused on just beauty products. Everyone here has different interests.
Right.
So marketers have to get smarter in new ways of connecting the brand to the consumer and finding, for me, I like to look at the adjacencies.
Definitely. So super interesting.
Yeah. I actually want to talk on one more thing that I'm seeing trend right now on TikTok, and that us as marketers are talking a lot about. So last year, everyone was talking about on TikTok the word of de-influencing. Now there's this conversation around loud budgeting. Now there's a new conversation around the no-buy 2024. So A, what does that mean to you? And how is that impacting your, either consumption of content or buying of product? And is it real?
As somebody who doesn't really use TikTok all that much, I maybe can offer a little bit of a
That is shocking.
unique Gen Z perspective.
You heard it, Gen Z is not using TikTok.
But that's the thing, some of us are and some of us aren't, so it's tough to generalize. And I also think Gen Z really likes to name things. Mm-hmm. They like to name it de-influencing, they like to name it no-buy beauty, whatever you want to call it, big budget, loud budgeting. It's fun for them to do this, to have these conversations and contribute in certain ways, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be followed all the way through to an end. I wouldn't take everything to the extreme, as we tend to do. When I think about, this is the first time I've heard of it personally. I've heard of other no spend this, no buy this. I think it all boils down to what's the best value for me in my product. And even if it's a $50 lip oil, if I'm using it all the way through and it lasts me 6 months, the cost per wear is really low on something like that versus a $15 lipstick I use once and throw away because I don't like it. really high cost per use. So it's not as easy as it sounds. We are making smarter budgeting decisions rather than louder budgeting decisions.
Yeah, the no buy 2024 seems very reactionary. It seems like that's just the times that we're in right now, where we have, whether it's boycotts or whether it's just where we are economically with people's personal spending, Gen Z is looking for an answer. And I think collectively right now that's their answer, that, okay, fine, we'll just do no buy 2024. I think I would check into maybe March 15th and see where we're at and see if that's still sticking around. But I think what it does highlight is that sense of community, where a small idea on TikTok might start spreading to 1 or 2 people, and then within a week, it's a trending tag that chief marketers are aware of.
Yeah, I think it's more of a transparency kind of thing, and it's that everyone's kind of have the same struggle, but no one wants to like exactly express what it is or how it came about. And so it allows people to have a conversation. I think something that a lot of brands kind of forget, and that I can't speak on behalf of all of you, but I think is true for Gen Z, is that we all care about something, but we don't all care about the same thing. Like Sophia just said, she's not on TikTok. I live on there 8 hours a day. Honest to God, I'm on there scrolling, learning, entertaining myself. I live off of there. I breathe it. It's my thing. It's my passion, but it is my thing. And so I think that as a brand, you have to decide what you're going to care about and how are you going to translate that to a Gen Z so that they love and care about you too.
As a 16-year-old who spends way too much time on TikTok, like my mom had to turn my screen time way down. I was spending too much time on it. I think Gen Z is so catered to as a whole, but like what you just said, we're all so different. I think you need to choose which portion of Gen Z you're gonna cater to and do that well, rather than trying to do a million things kind of half good. You should try to cater to your target audience. And you know, obviously that's what you're gonna do anyway, but if you're trying to expand your reach, try to do it to the people that are like right here, not all the way over here. I just feel as though brands are doing pretty good jobs of that, but just trying to keep everything in the same area, if you know what I'm saying. But yeah.
Love it. I have one last question around retailers.
Cool.
So when you think about beauty specifically, or men's grooming, all of the categories, what role do they each play, whether it's Amazon, the actual brick and mortar retailer of like an Ulta, a Walmart, a Sephora, or the brand's e-com site? How do you look at them, and do you shop them differently, or do you have a preference? Let's start here, go down.
I think when it comes to beauty, skincare, and products that I'm applying to my body, I like to be brick and mortar, because I think a lot of us are a little skeptical when we're ordering a beauty product on Amazon, because it's not really coming from the brand. But I think Sephora is probably my absolute favorite, because they have such a great return policy. It even enables me to spend more than I probably would have in the first place, because I'm taking home $100 worth of products, I'm trying them, I'm returning $50 worth, and I'm picking up another $100 worth of product. And this cycle continues every month. And I think, like I said earlier, sample, the ability to try it and really try it on, see it play in your day-to-day and how it works for you, that's the best way you can sell your product, is to allow us to actually try it. And then I'll keep coming back for more if I like it. If I don't, I won't, and that's kind of all there is to it.
Yeah, I'd say my relationship to brands has been my biggest shift as a consumer over the past year, where I used to just love going to Rite Aid, Duane Reade, Walgreens, getting all my stuff and going. But honestly, now that it's so much harder to shop, whether it's availability or everything being locked up, I gotta wait for somebody. I have unfortunately fallen victim to Amazon, and I'm buying it on there.
I am a trust but verify, so like I have brands that I love and I don't care where it is and what it costs, I'm gonna buy it. But just because it's there at the brand doesn't mean it's not cheaper on Amazon. So I will check other resources to make sure that I'm getting the best value for the product that I love.
Oh gosh, I am such a sit in bed, order everything on Amazon, and then realize I ordered too much, then have to return half of it. Like, that's just who I am, but I do love going into Sephora, and if I'm looking for new products, trying things on, seeing how like this mascara wand compares to this mascara wand. So honestly, if it's a product that I know and love, Amazon's the right place. But if it's something that I want to try, something that's new, I'm gonna go in store and I'm gonna try those new products.
Great. What I found interesting to wrap this is no one said TikTok shop.
Absolutely not.
I'm
Interesting.
Houston.
If TikTok Shop disappeared
That's my
tomorrow, I'd be the
takeaway.
happiest person alive.
Interesting.
I like it. Don't hate.
That was my takeaway.
All right.
TikTok Shop.
We'll continue this backstage.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you guys.